Greetings and welcome back to another video. In this video, I will be discussing, as you read by the title, what should a parent expect if their child is succumbing to psychosis or schizophrenia. Before we get started, guys, if you enjoy this video, remember, be sure to like this, subscribe if you haven't already. So, let's get into it. Now, what to expect. So, the first thing I would expect from my experience from my parents is they were very confused. They were utterly confused on what was going on. You know, it started off as I was acting very strange, I was very isolated, very anxious, and then paranoid, and then soon delusional, which they thought was very odd, and then soon hallucinations, and they knew I had to get help at that point. I went to a doctor. She referred me to a therapist, where he, that day, referred me to a psychiatrist, where I was... And then she referred me to a neuropsychiatrist, where I was then, 2 years later, diagnosed with schizophrenia. Or no, a year later. Yeah, so a year later she referred me to a neuropsych because she had no idea. Because I was so young, it was odd. Because usually people with schizophrenia get diagnosed like 25 and up, or 30 and up. And like years of age. And yeah. After a year, I finally got in, and they said, yep, you got schizophrenia after 4 hours of evaluation. So that's pretty neat, I guess. Woohoo! The next thing you need to do if your child gets diagnosed, or you feel that they are, if you heavily feel, now don't diagnose your kid unless they are diagnosed for sure by a professional. Self-diagnosing, that is one thing I don't like. You know, all these people, you know, I mean, some things are obvious, like when you have depression or anxiety. But to say, oh, I have bipolar disorder, or I have schizophrenia, or have split personality or PTSD or something. Some of those things you need diagnosed for because those are major things that can severely affect your life. It's not good to assume things. With me, after a while of dealing with things, I kind of assumed I had schizophrenia, which is odd because people believe that if you're schizophrenic, you don't know you're schizophrenic, which is very not true, especially if you deal with it over a course of time, a long period of time. But I would say do your research on schizophrenia and psychosis. Like I said, but don't but don't diagnose your child, and to get a professional to do it and see what happens. The third tip that I have is to be there for that child. Be there for that child through everything. It is not easy being schizophrenic. It is not easy at all. There are so many things that you will go through that are just not, it's not fun to deal with. So I would say go easy on them. You know, they're going to deal with a lot. There's a lot that they're going to go through. And it varies for everyone, I know. Some people can live with it. Other people are just ceased to be functional in society. And schizophrenia can be degenerative. It usually is, and it gets worse over time. There's times where it doesn't, where you get well medicated and in therapy, you know, and you're good to go. But sometimes not. So try to be there for that kid. Which ultimately comes to the understand your child. That also goes with the whole be there for them and search or do your research on schizophrenia, whether it's books, internet, whatever it is. If they're diagnosed or you feel that they'll be diagnosed. But don't assume unless you know for sure from a professional. I can't stress this enough. And that ultimately comes down to number 5, which is put yourself in your child's shoes. I mean, think about it. You cease to know what is reality, and you cease to know what truly is real and what isn't. And that seems to be the biggest problem with schizophrenia. It's ultimately a altered reality. And there'll be times where I think something's real and it's not. Or there'll be times where something happens that's not real that I know it's real. And yeah, some things, and you got to deal with it, you know. There's no way to get rid of it. Me, I just have to ride it out and keep myself occupied. Keep myself occupied, that's another tip I have. Keep yourself occupied. This is not for parents, but for people suffering from schizophrenia, is keep yourself occupied and get your mind off things. It can be extraordinarily and incredibly hard at times, but I would say that's your best bet. Mates! You like my doggy Mates? That's my puppy. Mates! He's tired. keep yourself occupied and take your medication and be honest with therapists in order to get medication, because they severely help. Although they can severely mess you up too, I would know from experience. But also, they can do more great than good. And that's all that matters when it comes to things like psychosis and schizophrenia. Never, ever acknowledge your child's hallucinations. This goes with any schizophrenic. Your child's hallucinations or delusions. Okay? With me, it's best with schizophrenic. Not even with me, but with schizophrenics in general. It is best if they say they see something to go, yes, I too see it, and play along with it. Don't do that. I've heard that this is very bad to do, and I grew up with parents that were told this too by a therapist, and they never did it. But also what gets me mad is when people deny it. I know that may not make sense, but maybe say things in order to question, get me to question what exactly is going on. Like, maybe talk about it and say, you know, make me think like, hey, what's the odds of this stuff actually being real? And it's hard, and usually when I'm delusional, there's nothing that can change my mind. Not a thing. But it's still, you know, try to make them question. Make them question the things that aren't there, not really happening, and see what they think. And lastly, the number one thing, well, not number one, but one of the biggest things, is to remember that they are still your child and a human being. If there's one thing that a parent should never do is abandon their child and disown their children. There would have to be some really messed up things in order for you to do that. That's just not good parenting. I'm sorry I said it. Especially when it comes to mental illness. You should never, ever not support your kid when it comes to mental illness. Ever. There are so many things that they can still accomplish. So many things they can do. Unless they're absolutely gone. And if they're not, they could rule the world for all we know. And that's basically what I say. Like, there's still things I can do, you know. I help you guys help me. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you guys. You guys mean the absolute world to me. And I couldn't imagine my life without doing this, you know. And it's funny because I told myself since a very young age, I was talking about this today with my parents, yes, I want my job to be YouTube. And they were like, you know, they didn't crush it, but they were like, you think that's the best decision? And I was like, yes. And I started with gaming videos on like another channel. And then I wouldn't get anywhere, obviously, because everyone and their grandma does gaming videos. And then I switched to talking about mental health, and this got me to where I am today. Once I post, I've said this all the time in my streams, once I posted that episode video, I was going to kill myself. I wanted to show the horrors of schizophrenia and then kill myself. But I didn't. I don't know why, but I didn't. And I got to see the success of the video, and I couldn't ask for a greater thing. Helping people, that's the best thing ever. You'll never get another better feeling than helping someone or completing a goal. And that's my tip to anyone out there that feels miserable in their life. One of the best feelings in the world that you can't imagine is completing a goal. And I don't even do this most of the time. I don't know why. I just don't. It's hard. It's hard to make goals. But it could be simply as, I'm going to get up 30 minutes earlier, or I'm going to brush my teeth today, or I'm going to shower in 1 hour, or I'm going to clean my room, or I'm going to clean part of my room and try to do it another time, you know. It could be I'm going to do the dishes. And then gradually over the day make them bigger, or over the week make them bigger, or the month, or a year, or every 5 years. You know, if you can do this, the world is yours. You can do whatever you want to do. You can face anything. And you'll be more motivated. You'll be more happy. Happiness is not something that people, I feel nowadays, think, or always thought happiness is what you feel in the moment. It's not. It's what you feel overall. How you feel overall about life and yourself. Now, self-happiness is something I severely struggle with. And I'm still working on it. But I can't give myself credit for anything. I don't know if it's my mental health or what. But I try. Anyways, guys, this will conclude the video. So be sure to like and subscribe. If you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when I post more content. Like it. A big thumbs up. double thumbs up. Let's try to get a half a like on this video. 1.5 like. And I will talk to you guys later. So, like I said, like, subscribe. Add me on Discord. Add me on Instagram. I love talking to you guys. You guys are the best. I try to get to everyone. On Discord, I always respond. Instagram, I try to. I'm not very active on it. But Discord, I always respond. Anyways, guys, I'm going to head out. Love you all so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.